Trita Parsi, who's the co-founder and executive vice president of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. He's also the founder and a former president of the National Iranian-American Council. Welcome to the program. Your initial thoughts and reaction to this breaking news?
Well, it all depends on the extent of the damage and the extent of the bombing. Obviously, what it says at first, of course, is that Joe Biden's efforts to contain Netanyahu, convince him not to escalate matters further, has clearly and predictably failed, mindful of the fact that up until this point, 7 months into the slaughter in Gaza, Biden has yet to actually put any real pressure on Netanyahu. There's been no threats to withhold aid. There's been no threats to withhold arms sales. There's been no threats to withhold vetoes in the Security Council, the last one just being cast a few hours ago. And under those circumstances, it is quite surprising to even expect that Netanyahu would have listened to Biden when he said that he didn't want to see any further escalation.
Absolutely, and that's such an important point that, you know, even before Israel's war on Gaza, even when we were talking about the judicial reform, the protests for months, he wasn't listening. Netanyahu was not listening to Biden. Why would we be surprised now with regards to containing Netanyahu? What kind of response then are you expecting? Because the Israeli war cabinet has been meeting all week, and how would you describe what we've seen in Iran now, if indeed it is some sort of low escalation response from Israel?
It all depends once we know the actual facts of the matter, because there's been conflicting reports. But what is interesting is that you're seeing Iranian government officials or analysts close to them saying on Twitter and elsewhere that these were not actual missile attacks. They were drones. They exploded in the air, not on the ground. No damage was inflicted. If this is the Iranians' way of downplaying the whole episode, and as a result choose not to escalate matters, not to respond, then I think the world would actually be very thankful. And it would be a good way of exiting this escalatory cycle. If that is what they choose to do, and if that's what they think they can do, which of course depends on whether there actually has been any significant damage or not. But I think one thing we should learn, though, is that the failure of the international community to condemn the Israeli bombing of the Iranian embassy on April 1st, because the United States, France, and the UK blocked a presidential statement at the UN Security Council trying to condemn it. That failure, I think, may have proven to be quite decisive, because had the international community condemned it strongly, then the Iranians may not have actually retaliated in the first place. This time around, in order for them to downplay this attack, downplay the damage, and choose not to go forward with a further retaliation, may very much be dependent upon whether the international community condemns Israel this time around.
Trita, we're mentioning it. You've said the fact that Iran is downplaying what's happened. Could that be strategic?
Certainly, because at the end of the day, if they go forward with what they had vowed to do, which is to strike hard and fast against Israel, then we would see a regional war that would not be to the benefit of the Iranians or the Israelis. Now, Israelis, their capabilities are clearly superior to that of Iran, but at the same time, the Iranians showed 5-6 days ago that they still can hit Israel. And despite the fact that there's been a lot of things saying that that was a failed attack, 99% shot down. Well, that was because the Iranians gave 72 hours heads up. That's because the United States, France, and the UK had time to be involved, and they're the ones who shot down the majority of the different projectiles. Going forward, that will likely not be the case, and the Iranians will likely also use missiles that are much more modern and upgraded and that the Israelis have not seen yet. So they have already shown that they can inflict significant danger on Israel as well. But at the end of the day, there will be no winners in this war.
As you're speaking there, Trita, I'm just seeing a line here from breaking news again. Unconfirmed. I'm just reading verbatim. U.S. officials confirming that Israel carried out strikes inside Iran. That's according to American media outlets, but citing anonymous U.S. officials. Again, we're not confirming this right now. It is early yet in this developing news story. Trita, thank you very much indeed. Trita Parsi, co-founder and executive vice president of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. I appreciate your analysis on this breaking news.